Hi, my name is Kathy Voth. I own Livestock for Landscapes, and in 2004 I created a method for teaching cows to eat weeds. Over the past 6 grazing seasons, I've completed 11 training projects in 7 different vegetation types. Training has worked every time, and animals have continued to eat the weeds year after year. Some ranchers prefer to train in dry lot, others in pasture. I've trained bison and 110 pairs using a cake feeder and feeding on the ground. I've worked with those new to ranching and experienced ranchers. The training process adapts easily for anyone because it's based on animal behavior principles, not a rigid recipe. Another thing we know about our new tool is that cows can eat a wide variety of weeds. Cows in my projects have eaten Canada thistle, leafy spurge, spotted knapweed, Italian thistle, distaff thistle, diffuse knapweed, Dalmatian and yellow toadflax, musk thistle, and black mustard. Once trained cows are eating weeds, they add all kinds of new weeds without me having to teach them anything at all. But what does this mean for a cattle producer's bottom line? We asked economist John Morley to review the literature with an eye to the economic benefits of weed-eating cows. He looked at the weed costs at a national and producer level and then considered factors that make a rancher profitable.
Weed infestation is a huge problem overall. I've got lots of studies here on the aggregate problem. This one says that we spend $20 billion a year on invasive species across the U.S. This one says Montana needs a 50% increase in budget just to contain the invasive species, from 20 million to 30 million. This one says North and South Carolina spent 250 million and did not eradicate the weeds. So you can see it's a real problem.
Here's what that means at the producer level.
If we use 10 acres per head to graze an animal for a season and this is kind of a summer grazing period for a yearling up here, this number is anywhere from 10 to 30 to 40 acres per head. If the cost per acre is $65 to spray and for the chemical and spraying of the product, the cost then at $65 per acre times 10 acres, when I do the math, it comes out $650 for a weed program for that one animal. If we said, but the spray program works off over 5 years, we'll say that spraying is going to impact this for 5 years, and it's still $130 per head per year. If on that one 10-acre piece of land we can graze a steer for 2 pounds of gain for 120 days, we have 240 pounds of gain. Then in 1 year, our $130 expense divided by the gain is 47 cents for that application. 47 cents cost per pound of gain. That's huge. That's just the spray alone. We're not trying to argue whether you should spray or not spray. I think what we're trying to say is that is there other strategies that you can enact that turn an expense into a revenue.
This represents an acre of your land. If you got an infestation rate of 38%, which we pulled from an earlier study that you had commissioned, so your acre consists of 62% grasses and 38% weeds. The goat and sheep studies show that they can eat 70 to 90% of these weeds. If we say your cows hit a 70% rate, that means you're going to add an additional 25% to your acreage, which is an overall increase of 43%, the 25% over the 62 in available acreage for your cows.
Well, there really is no good science on this. It's way too new. And I don't think you want to wait 20 years to get the science on this. What you do know, or what you can figure out, is that the lower cost producers make more money 100% of the time. And this is a way to lower your cost in every respect.
So what do ranchers who have tried it think?
Economically, If you're comparing equipping, supplying, and applying yourself to use transline, all you're doing is focusing on weeds. If you're training cows to go out in there, in addition to all the other beneficial things they're doing, to also feed themselves on a nutritious plant like distaff, it's all good. There's no downside to cows.
Are you happy?
You bet.
It's working?
It's working.
Okay.
Very little effort, and it makes a difference.
But this is a remarkable experience because I was the total skeptic, and now I'm the total believer. And I think, Kathy's really onto something. I think everybody is thinking, if I can save a lot of money and not have any detrimental effect to my animals, why not?
So in terms of cost analysis, we've done the hard work, we did the transline, and we learned a lot in the interim. So save yourself the grief, don't buy the equipment.
Don't buy the transline.
Don't
Go
buy the transline.
straight to
I
the-
briefly thought about, should I rent you my equipment? But no, you don't want it. I think, I can't remember our supplier's name, they want you to use it. But the grazing techniques that include thistle management are beneficial on so many levels, it's hard to quantify, but they're all up. There's no downside to cows eating thistle.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.